What is going on, Raider Nation? This is your boy Wi-Fi Willie back at you with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Derek Carr leading the NFL in passing and making his case again for the MVP. So hey, I know that after the Bengals game, almost all the Raider Nation wanted Mariota to start. I had videos going on, I had live streams, and I ran polls, and it was 50-50, man. Most people were like, man, start the Flying Hawaiian. I'm done with Derek Carr. I'm done with the Raiders. The season's over. 4 days later, what happens? Well, first, 3 days later, I put a film breakdown down and I say, hey, you can't blame Derek Carr. I have that film breakdown on my channel. That's what I was saying before the Cowboys game. I picked out a lot of plays. I pretty much analyzed every passing play in which we failed. And I was like, yo, there really wasn't much there for Derek Carr, basically. So check that video out if you haven't. That's what happened. Then Thursday, boom, Derek Carr wins in overtime against the Cowboys. Raider Nation loves him, man. They love some Derek Carr. Derek. So everybody goes wild for Derek Carr. That's what happens. Ultimately, a win and a loss, people are going to feel some type of way, right? It's pretty funny, too. I honestly really do believe that if Derek Carr had his same exact stats, say, for instance, we missed the field goal in overtime against the Cowboys, and then the Cowboys end up winning, I think that Raider Nation and a lot of people online would be saying to bench Derek Carr, and they would say anti-Carr stuff online despite him having the same exact numbers. Just because the Raiders won that game against the Cowboys, it made all the difference, man. It made all the difference, and everybody was back on the Derek Carr train. But I'm happy to see you guys here, happy to see everyone here, and that's why you should be happy to have him as your QB, because look at this, leading the NFL, 3,414 yards. Derek Carr for the second time. And, you know, there's multiple weeks too earlier in the year where he's just leading the NFL in passing yards straight up. And it's not like he's ding and dunking it. He's not. He has 8.3 yards per attempt. That's higher than Matthew Stafford, higher than Mahomes, higher than Herbert, higher than Brady. The only person who has a higher yards per attempt than Derek Carr is Kyler Murray at 8.9. So Derek Carr's getting it done. And to be honest, Murray has the advantage because he's played less games due to his injury. So obviously his average is going to be higher with yards per attempt. Derek Carr also has 67% passing completion percentage. That's up there with everybody. Kirk Cousins, Tom Brady. You know, Mac Jones has a little more. Yeah, Dak, but they've also had way less snaps than Derek Carr. When you look at the comparison, way less attempts too. In every single category, Derek Carr is doing awesome. He's leading in all these categories. The only spot where he's not leading right now is touchdown to interception ratio. And that's huge. That's why his QB rating isn't as elite as some of the other people like Tom Brady. That's why he's still having to fight to get in the MVP conversation. And he did fight a little bit to get to that point. There was a period in time, especially during these past 3 losses, where you didn't hear people talk about Derek Carr for the MVP race anymore. Totally out of it. Now he's getting some odds. He could possibly do it. The Raiders have a clear path to the playoffs in multiple ways. It's not for sure yet. They still have to straight up win, you know, pretty much all their games besides one at this point. But Derek Carr is still putting up numbers, and so we'll see if he sustains this. If he sustains this, when it's all said and done, he's going to be leading the NFL in passing yards. He's going to be leading in deep passing yards, so you're not going to be able to call him a check down guy. And his completion percentage is going to be up there with every single person in the NFL. Tom Brady, you know, Mahomes, Herbert, Stafford, all the elite people. He's going to be right up there with him. So there's really not going to be anything you could ding Carr on besides touchdown to interception ratio. And we've seen in this past Dallas game, although we still struggled a little bit in the red zone, there was improvement. But I think the primary improvement for the Raiders in the red zone this past game was because they were able to run the ball efficiently due to adding Mariota in when they're in the red zone. So you saw them do the read option where they had Jacobs keep it. You saw them do it where Mariota kept it. And I think implementing him in the red zone is going to ultimately take away some touchdowns from Derek Carr. Essentially, the past 3 weeks and even the whole entire season, what the Raiders have been doing in the red zone hasn't been working. They've been completely unable to run the ball, period. And that's hindered Derek Carr in a lot of ways. The offensive line has struggled throughout the whole entire year. The offensive line really only had 2 good games, which was the Broncos and the Eagles games, which is kind of weird because that was right after the Gruden firing. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. I don't know. I think this red zone efficiency ultimately needs to get up if Derek Carr wants to have any shot for an MVP talk, you know, anything. And even just for the Raiders to improve and win a significant amount of games, they're going to have to win. They're going to have to win in the red zone straight up. They're going to have to. They're going to have to get touchdowns instead of settling for field goals. And even in the Cowboys game, I mean, how many field goals did Daniel Carlson kick? I lost count at a certain point. Field goal after field goal. And that's why you get Derek Carr. You get the yardage, you get the yards per attempt, you get the completion percentage, but then you get field goals. So I don't know how they're going to fix this. Maybe Mariota's the answer, and him in the red zone is just going to help you out, help you at least be able to score rushing touchdowns in the red zone. But maybe Derek Carr needs to use his legs a little more. Maybe we'll be able to open up the passing game in the red zone if there is a threat that he could run the ball. We saw him do that awesome 22-yard rush in the Dallas game, and I want to pull this up for you. Next gen stats. Fastest ball carriers in week 12 this past week. And this is running backs, wide receivers, cornerbacks, based on like returns and all kinds of plays, right? Derek Carr's 19th. He's above Odell Beckham right here, you could see. Derek Carr was flying on that 22-yard rush at 19.84 miles per hour. So he ended up being 19th out of all the players in the NFL. Fastest, right? On a play, fastest ball carrier. That was Derek Carr. So you know what that says to me? That says to me that my guy Derek Carr has the speed. He has the speed to be a quarterback that could destroy you with his legs. If you let him, if you leave open the opportunity, he can do it. He could be able to escape in the pocket a little more in certain situations, and he does. He's extended plays a little better, but that dimension that we saw in this past game, I think that's what everyone's been looking for. Can he go off and get us 22 yards? That's huge. A big play in the middle of the game when the defense least expects it. So I think if Derek Carr implements this aspect into his game a little more, we're going to see a really awesome season for him coming up against some of these tough AFC opponents. You got the Colts, you got the Browns, obviously the Chiefs and the Chargers. So you're battling, man. You're battling to get into the playoffs, and you go head-to-head with a lot of these people. And don't overlook the Washington football team this week at all. Del Rio is going to be hungry. I got another video about that. So be on the lookout. Sorry about my acid reflux. Be on the lookout for that Del Rio video. And be on the lookout for this Thursday. I'll be going live for 420 Football Talk. And I'll also be going live during the game on Sunday, 1 p.m. against the Washington football team. We're going to party and have some fun. So I hope you guys join me there. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like it, man. And subscribe to this channel. It really helps me out. This is Wi-Fi Willie. I hope to see you in the future, man. You guys have a good one.